Listen to me very carefully. I want you to close this video and immediately go watch the anime Apocalypse Hotel. Do me, and especially do yourself a favor and go watch the anime. This is such a good anime that I can so proudly stick up my chest and recommend it to anybody who would listen. Go watch Apocalypse Hotel. It's just that good. And if you're still watching this video and still need more convincing, so let's talk about it. Now let's start with the premise. We have a human, who decided to open up a hotel completely run by robots and humanoids android. But and the hotel became quite successful. There were people that were saying that, oh, the hotel is going to fail, it's going to go bankrupt in a couple of years, but it was quite successful. But sadly, a couple of years later, a virus was starting to sweep the planet Earth, making the air poisonous for humans to breathe. And they started to quarantine themselves wearing complete hazmat suit, even going as far as trying to create towns underwater, but it was still not successful, and they have to resort to their last option, and that is to abandon the planet Earth, getting out in a couple of spaceships and go to space in search for another planet. And because the hotel was continuing to run, because they're all robots and androids and such, they even though that the rest of the planet was decaying, the hotel was the only thing continued to run normally, because with no human interaction, all of the employees being androids and robots, and with the only thing that they need is system solar energy to function. They maintained that running the hotel for 400 years. But it was not all sunshine and rainbows. Our main character Yashio was starting to get depressed, disheartened. For 400 years humanity has not returned, and just when she was starting to lose hope, they received a new guest. An extraterrestrial alien entered the door, and from that moment onwards, they show him to the counter. They welcome him wholeheartedly as a guest to the hotel. And after the whole thing was said and done, they decide, okay, if let's not just welcome humans, let's welcome any extraterrestrial being that enters through our doors wholeheartedly. And that's mostly the premise, and I really love it. And just so you know, this is an anime original, no manga, no light novel, all original, and it was done so beautifully, not the concept alone, but the animation, the writing, everything was so well done. Let's start with the animation. The animation is it has a old school type of feeling, but with modern technology, obviously. And I really like it because with many of the characters, the animation lasted open enough to change expressions, because we only our character Yashio alone, we see her facial expression go with all over the place, from super happy, cool and collected, from depressed to super angry and super pissed off. You see such a wide range of emotion through her alone, even though that she's an android. And not only that, we have other characters, that the aliens, and the character designs, and not only the designs and the expressions, but also the action, because I did notice that, well, I just didn't see it coming, that this anime had at least two major action sequences throughout the episodes, and it was so well done. I thought to myself that this was going to be mostly a character-driven anime with a couple of a comedy and a couple of hardships along the way when it comes to running the hotel. But I did not see action sequences entering in this type of anime, and it caught me completely off guard with alien on alien fight, and Yashio fighting with another character that is presented later on in the third episode, Ponko. Well, her grown up version, because this anime continues to run throughout the years, and it's very realistic with the writing. But let me just finish with the animation first. So yes, the animation is very good. I really like it. The like I said, the facial expressions, the action, the coloring, the animation, the way that the animation, let's say, opens for anything wow to happen at any moment. The animation like it. So let's move on first to the characters. Now, I briefly touched upon Yashiro for a moment, but I like her character because she is so precious in so many ways. Because let me just mention, she is acting as the acting manager for the hotel, a very huge responsibility, and she is the only one, well, at least the only humanoid android that has survived throughout the years. In the beginning, yes, the staff was much bigger, and you see at the in the graveyard, let's say, where the previous employees of the hotel, the robots, resides, that there was a huge, a decent amount of workers. But throughout the years, sadly, accidents happen, parts go missing, or parts cease to function, and they have to retire as employees. And she being the last humanoid robot, and she takes her job very seriously to a fault, because she is, like I said, she is obsessed with running the hotel in so many ways. For instance, she is obsessed with shower caps, thinking that, oh, if there's no shower caps, the hotel ceases to function. We go to the negatives, and they have to close down the hotel. It was just so out there with her logic. And even in one episode, I kid you not, she literally tries to cover up a murder, because in one episode, one of the aliens that was staying in the hotel died, and she thinking to herself, oh, this is clearly a murder case, somebody killed him and jumped out the window or something, but they could not find who did it. So she just decide, let's cover up the murder, because if hotels that have murder happen inside of them, well, usually they're bad press, bad word of mouth, and eventually the hotel closed down. So what does she do? Cover up the murder and literally go to a gravesite and bury the evidence, pretty much. So her logic goes all throughout the anime, goes all over the place. And just to stop talking about her specifically, Yashio, she when she thinks that humans return to Earth, and she was super excited, jumping all over this place, so being so cutesy, clapping and everything. Oh my goodness, humanity has returned. And the way that she then found out that no, these are not humans, they are tanukis taking the human form, you can see the disappointment in her face. She's just so precious. But let me just mention Doorman, the Doorman robot, because he's let's say my favorite. It's quite sad that in the later half of the episode, he didn't receive such too much speaking roles throughout the episode, because we saw many new characters being introduced throughout the episodes. So his spotlight got shorter and shorter throughout the episode, sadly. But he's still my favorite, because he's such obsessed with opening doors and being such a professional doorman, and wanting to give the guests the smoothest opening of door possible. It was just so hilarious how he says all of that with just a straight, well, as not straight face, a straight voice. So he's one of my favorite characters. So let's move on to the writing. Now, the writing is genius in so many ways. I don't know how they do it because it starts sad and it immediately goes to funny, and it start funny, then it goes serious. And then it start funny, and then it go to morbidly funny but disturbing at the same time. You can just not guess in which episode, which turn, the type of writing or the type of mood they're trying to invoke to the audience. It just goes all over the place, but it does it in such a flawless way that you cannot just help to find that the anime is so charming. And one thing that I want to mention about the writing also is that this writing with the characters and the passage of time is very realistic. This is not like Dragon Ball with the explosion of Planet Namek, where it was 10 minutes, but it took 30 episodes for it to happen. No, it's very realistic with the passage of time, because in one episode they ran out of liquor, and she wanted to make new alcohol to continue to run in the hotel. But obviously making good liquor takes time, because you have those barrels that have been in the storage for 150 and so many years. And I thought to myself, that was the first time that this happened. I thought to myself, oh, they did that they did all of this in just one episode. But no, when the episode was almost over and they successfully managed to make alcohol, it was said that it was like 50 years since they begin. So from where they beginning trying to make alcohol, there was a 50-year time skip for all of that to happen. And in another episode where they wanted to create a satellite with the whole sci-fi concept of making the hand of God, where they launches a metal rod at high speed to Earth to make pretty much a missile. That took one episode, but in reality it took 75 years. So the writing is very realistic with the passage of time, because yes, aliens, you will think to yourself, oh, because these aliens are the Tanukis are taking right now a humanoid form, you thought to yourself, okay, only a couple of months passed, or a couple of weeks. No, it was years. It's just because of their look that you trick yourself to thinking it was just a short amount of time. I'm starting to babbling, so let me move on to the next part. And I also like how you see so much character growth throughout the passage of time, because our little character Ponko, the little Tanuki who became a hotel employee, she grows up, gets married, have a daughter. And by the way, the daughter is the only character that I didn't like. Only one character, she barely appeared throughout the episode, but she's the only character that I personally didn't like. But everybody else were written beautifully, and I just cannot recommend this anime enough. So I am going to give this anime a score of 9, a 9 out of 10. And that's all that I'm going to say. If you're still not convinced, what's wrong with you? So have a good day, have a good night, wherever you're from, and see you next video.